Let's have a little look and do a replay as well. Yes.
And we do it for the broadcast, for the replay as well.
Yeah, we do it for the replay as well. Hello, everybody. This is Robert van Kooten. Kooten. Got it right that time. And Nicola Russell at Starseed U. So we've come together for another live stream because we feel that we resonate together, don't we, Robert?
Yeah, we sure do. We sure do.
We sure do. And you sort of give me upgrades and information that comes from your higher self, I am presence, and then I come back with some information, which is quite fun to do as well. So we decided to come on today. Don't know what we're going to talk about in particular. Is there anything that you would like to open with, my lovely?
No, there was this morning. Let's start back. Yesterday and the day before, you broadcasted two things, and one was the pink light from it's a ball of pink light in the end.
Oh yes.
And I listened to that twice. This morning I woke up at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock early, and then I thought, oh, that's a good moment to re-listen to it. And the first time it grabbed me really in the heart, and this morning again. And what I sensed was also that there somehow your energy shifted, and it's more like gentle, softer. And I like the shift. And then there's not comparing to the other one that I didn't like it or something.
I like that one, but I like that one. Yeah, the resonance of it is a more it's strong yet softer, isn't it?
Yeah,
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So it does come in and out, that one. It does. So there's something that's going on that's needed. You know, the something's going on that's needed in the collective at the moment. But it was very much, I felt personally, it was very angelic and very much linked to the Pleiadians. They sort of tend to speak slower.
And that was more like, there was more love energy in it.
Yes.
And that resonates with me, because I'm always curious, because when you speak your light language, I'm not directly in contact with that light language. And I was watching you together with the guy, the English guy in Italy.
Zach.
Yeah, Zach. And he was putting his hands on his heart, and I was like, I normally do that, but in the broadcast I never did it, so I will do it today. And but still, there was maybe it's in here. I got something for you. Okay, let's do this first. I am Zumba. Studatai to fufu in your mai kotopo tacha sumo tam boydam boy ya was rescued tamba baba who Jirebo Okay, that's the fun factor, I think.
I love that dialect. That's so fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really. Wait a minute. What do I get for that? Wait a minute. I'm getting a download coming in. This is how we work, don't we, Robert? I'm getting something to sort of interpret, because it's very high resonance that you're bringing in. But you know, oh, okay. What they're saying is the deepest, darkest one. Oh, is that coming up on your thing? Is that on your Facebook?
Yeah.
So the deepest, darkest wants are coming forward. So the conversation we had prior.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I'm not going to disclose the information, but the deepest, darkest wants of the potential creation can be manifested.
Wow. So this is really, really interesting. And
yeah, because the conversation that we had, hi, I am Heart Blessed. Hi, Suzanne. Yeah, so it's the deepest. So, okay, what they said, back on track, they said. So, when we raise our vibration, the density of the subconscious mind is reflected in the creation of your trajectory. So, a potentiality, something that can happen in the future, can be manifested from the deepest, darkest subconscious mind. Okay. If this has been shown to you, it is showing you that it is a potential, but it's also showing you this is a deep, dark want within you to happen.
Wow.
So I'm not going to talk about the information I just sort of spoken to Robert about beforehand, but I'm going to keep you all guessing. But it is that actually that is being shown to you that it could happen, because when you raise your vibration, you are able to make a choice for that to actually happen if you want it in your reality. So the more that you let go of everything that's holding you back, there are subconscious things that could be created if you really focused on it and wanted it. So what was shown to me last night is actually saying, do you want this? Do you want this to happen? Because if you do, it can happen.
And we had the discussion just before the broadcast, and you asked my opinion, and it resonates with what I'm just light language to you. So it was like, it's one of the possibilities. It's like, and there are multiple. So if your deepest subconscious part is changing or shifting, the outcome will change as well.
Yes.
So it's still, there are too many possibilities. That's not black or right, or left or right. And so it's interesting. But I also was curious about the last part of this message, because it was like high sounds. It almost looked like the space fairies a bit. Yeah. So they join us again. So that's good.
Yeah. So they're joining us. So they're like joining us on our live streams, don't they?
Yeah.
So what they're also saying, as I'm tuning in, is absolutely, it is not to focus on the outcome if something's been shown to you. It is about focusing on the now moment. The now moment, and stick to what you feel is of the light, and what you want in your now moment, not about what actually potentially could happen with your deepest, darkest wants.
Yes, no wannabes, just be.
Just be. So that's the lesson in it. So this conversation needed to be had for me to understand that process.
Yeah.
That I can then relate that out. So it was something, just to let everybody know, something which was actually sort of quite, really? Would that happen? So it was that sort of deep, dark sort of wanting it to happen that actually could happen, because I could manifest it.
Well, that's a nice starter.
Yeah. Like that. So hope everybody's okay. Hi, Suzanne. So we've got Suzanne on here, and then let's have a little look. Oh yes, so we've got Suzanne Napier on Facebook. I don't think it's the same person. I don't think. Anyway, Suzanne, is that the same? Are you the same person? Because you've got an S in there and a Z on there, so it might be two. So if you've got any questions whatsoever whilst you've got me and Robert on the line, please come in and ask some questions for us, and then we can come back with our perspective, and also we can tune into our starbeam guides to help with that process as well. But there's something that you and I are working on that I really wanted to talk about, which was as a result of the conversation I had with Zach Hayter, which is my last live stream, if anyone wants to look back on that, is about the emotional states.
And that's also about the energetic emotional release?
Yes.
Okay.
So Robert and I are actually working on heart activations and moving from heart activations into the emotional release, so energetic emotional releasing. So we're working on this therapy together. So did you want to talk about your sort of general thing that you're doing? We don't necessarily go into full detail about that, because you're going to actually be placing that information onto Starseed U, aren't you? So if anybody does want to receive any of this information in big detail, then Robert's actually going to be downloading his information onto Starseed U. So we can put up links for that when that goes on. But so what is the general thing about your heart activations which people might want to know about?
It's still evolving. It's because I was working on it this morning as well, and the jigsaw, how do you say, the puzzle pieces will fit in together more and more. And it has to do. When I started doing light language, I started with a heart activation. That's the name which popped up, and it was refined when I showed it to you. You gave some comments, which was really interesting because it's another perspective. And after that, it looks like that I've been doing for 8 years sudden ceremonies like the Anyota fire ceremony, which was combined with a lot of other geometrical information. It's all coming together now. And it's like, and what I've found out this morning, it's like everything, we started from high energy and being able to do anything by energy thoughts, like we were energy, and then we came into our avatars like we are now, and the route now is going to go back to where we were.
Yes.
So there's a lot of information like Merkaba or the Anyota fire, or there's a lot of mystic information. People have a lot of opinions about it, and but in fact we're going back to our ability to travel as energy, and it all has got to do with going the road back down. Exactly, and it's all from the heart. It's the center. That's the connection with the source. It's unfolding like a beautiful flower, and it's like, but it's and connecting with the work you are doing with your energy courses. And I'm a big fan of that because if we work together, I buy all the things you post because there's still information in the backside of it, which I can pick up and then can co-create with. So it's really interesting. And but it's like my light language is like different from all I see around me, because it's more like we call it like the big drills they use to make tunnels, and it's more like that energy and powerful and very different frequencies. So that we're combining the gentle angelic information with the more powerful information, and that's what I call co-creation. So it's like it starts as an activation, because that's a word people recognize. But in fact, it's like preparing you for your own spaceship and being your own spaceship.
Yeah.
So that's what we do, and it's not maybe the final step, but it's a step towards that.
Yeah.
Does that make some sense?
Yeah. So what we've been given personally, myself and yourself, Robert, is like a combination and a sequence into creating a type of therapy to allow people to open up their hearts, to activate the heart chakra into the sacred geometry in their energetic field, and then allowing themselves to look at the emotional states that cloud the availability to connect to the Merkaba, to the sacred geometry, which is in the energetic field, which is the grid work. And then with that, once you've actually cleared the emotional states, it gives you more access to those different sacred geometric codings to allow you to connect to higher levels of consciousness.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing is we're working through with people in the future to enable us for them to connect with the heart space at a deeper level, because what you're doing is that you're bringing in these light frequencies that literally go in and like dynamite, Robert. It's right, dynamite. So you go in, you sort of blast away the sort of, it almost sort of feels like sort of callousy, inside. It's like do you know what I mean? It sort of blasts it away, sort of a quick route in. And then it sort of then works through into actually connecting with the emotional states to allow the clouding to release. And then it's then actually then setting up different grid works with different sort of like codings there again, isn't it? So it's really interesting how we're being shown this information, because when we actually get together offline, off broadcasting, we are given all these different stages. So we're working at the moment, I'm sort of working on the sort of quantum area of the emotional the emotional release therapy. And you're coming in from the very beginning of actually activating the light in the heart, the first place. So it's a really interesting concept of how we're sort of opening up to the knowledge of it. Because I think if they gave it to us all at once, it'd be like, what's going on?
Yeah. So and also sorry to interrupt, but also the normally, if it was just a heart activation and it was just chakra information you share, it was like, oh, everybody else got something like that. There's no novelty in it. It's nothing special or whatever. And but last week I found out that in the process from being a light energy spaceship, what we were. Towards now, and we caught up with so much density in our energy lines and in our Merkaba, in our meridians, and there's density all over and everywhere, and that density is most often, not most often, it can be fear. So it's very important that the chakras should be reopened, like you are doing, to prepare that if there's a big load of fear in that's already released. Because if I come with my blasting, then there's a possibility that somebody who is not really awakened finds out that there's a massive fear in their system, and that could be a bit too much. So the combination is getting more and more clear and interesting, and the good thing is that we have a lot of fun doing it. That's what I like most.
Interesting. So so it's been divinely given. It's been sort of we're connecting into that consciousness, and the more that sorry. Oh, you got okay.
Hey, you might be more shaky. You activated that somehow.
Something happened there, didn't it? Wait a minute, I've got a download of what. This is not working, is it? You say something, I'm going in and interpreting it. Okay, wait a minute. Tokarachani kiatoro shokyoto bakianata, sionogiapo pakianata, shikiato makiato basho. Kokoro doro shono kokra tarashi, kiatana makiato basho no kokra tarashi. Dere bishono bayoto kore basiono moko grata de sha. Kiato da balegiato da bashono go, giato kore shani giata da reshna kiatata. Koko kiata da bishani yata de kiata da bane moko krabata da mishokioto da bush, kiata da maya kia yete siana kie, to da yamana kie, poko bane mako shakiata. Okay, just let that integrate. As information, okay, just let that sit there. Okay. Just trying to interpret that. I'm just coming in. So what they're showing me is this. It is not an explosion, they're saying. It is not an explosion of energy that you are projecting into the heart center, which is a misinterpretation. They're saying they don't want to adjust that. What they're saying is what you do is that you go in like this and not blast it, but you go in with the codes like this, which is almost like a drilling. That was actually spoken about before, wasn't it? So it was about drilling process and not going in and blasting it, which this is a more precise, it is a precise, more precision within the act. It is more gentler than what we actually think, but it comes through quite almost like a bolt of lightning rather than an explosive sort of shattering of density. It goes in and it works its way through intelligently. So it's more of an intelligence rather than going in, booming it out. So the dialect is from a higher resonance of intellect than to say blast. Okay, but it is but they're saying because every single word we use has a resonance of understanding, and it then filters out into the universe, and they didn't particularly like that word, so we apologize for that. It was our interpretation. But so that was interesting because people will actually have a concept and a mind process of thinking, actually, I don't know, want my heart being blasted open. So it is more precise intellect that goes into the heart through a high resonant dialect.
And it's beautiful because people can now see how we work.
Yes.
Because normally it's fun making different languages, but this is how we work. We get some information. You can help me in what is coming from. I can't stop it even. And then we understand what it is, what we're doing.
Yes, absolutely. And this is why it's interesting when we actually work together as a collective, because Robert, you would actually do the heart activations and then have and understand it from a singular perspective. Yeah. When I come in and then I actually then get the information through, and then I bring a different piece of the jigsaw puzzle, and then we get a different perspective on the subject. Yeah. So this is why we need to come together as a collective. Because if I hold that and you hold that, if somebody else comes in, they'll hold this. So it's creating a bigger picture about the reality and understanding of the information that's coming through, which is important for us to do, because, you know, ultimately I am you, you are me.
Yeah.
And when we have a greater understanding that I can actually gain my information from a different perspective from your viewpoint, it enables me to connect back up to oneness.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, isn't it? So if anybody's got any perspective on the light language that we've actually been speaking from your perspective, please let us know if there's anything that's sort of coming in from everywhere else. Oh, hi, Jade. I can see my niece is on Facebook watching. This is for you, Jade. Wait a minute, Jade, if you're still watching. Siano mia kyoto de baliki and mokorasi, Kiano Bagiota Gramakiata, Siana Katesh. That was for Jade.
Okay. You said that you questioned if the two Susans were the same names, and that's
no, they're not.
Okay, no. Exactly.
Susan is actually Suzanne from Sweden.
Okay.
Yes, I should know. She's one of my clients. I didn't know what to do, but I know that she's there. So there's my beautiful friend Susan, and the other Suzanne is another Suzanne with a Z.
Okay.
And with two S's.
Okay.
So two Suzannes today.
I still got something for you.
Oh.
Yeah. Somebody tetap itu tetap merendah kumboy sure boy mai tu boy matatai na kayu kuku ketaya tatama pataya tepoto to yo kawai do Rambo yo
yeah, good. Oh, that was interesting. Felt there were like 3 layers of intellect there.
Yeah.
I'm sure that like there were 3. There was like the zers and the like the lower.
2 others.
Yeah, there were 3 dialects within that. That was interesting to observe. Kyoto krasana Kyoto da bayanama Kyoto da shana Kyoto da bayanama Kyoto da shia Kyoto. It is the evolution of your integration of multidimensional aspects, Robert, apparently. Kyoto da bayana Kyoto da shana Kyoto da sha Kyoto da mayoto bukuda beshana Kyoto da sha di Kyoto na Kyoto goroda ran shia Kyoto. It is about the understanding that you are evolving more than what you could ever imagine. Back. You needed a pat on the back there, apparently. Gorgeous. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay. So the emotions that everybody's experiencing at the moment, if we move on to that, because there's so much that's going on. And I was listening to a really lovely lady on YouTube this morning. I can't remember her name. It's Baraka something, or but she's got a very big following, and she's an astrologist, and she was sort of saying about that there is retrograde. I'm not really sort of up on astrology. I hear it, and then I goes in that ear and comes out that ear. But apparently there's a massive shift in at the moment. So if anybody's going through really sort of shifting emotional states, then I'd like to talk about that a little bit more in detail. How do you feel with your emotions at the moment, Robert?
I'm in balance. I saw your post this morning, and I felt like I was thinking about it, and I'm seriously, I'm at the moment in balance. I make still little mistakes of old, deeper subconscious patterns. They still pop up, and but they're getting smaller. And I'm more in trust.
Nice.
This was an issue a couple of weeks ago. Not an issue, but it could have more attention. And so, in my opinion, it's somehow balanced. Of course, there are little shifts, and we're going towards a new lockdown over here, and then they the rules again, and then everything. They made it a law that you have to wear a mouth cap and things like that. So if you don't do it, they can arrest you and things like that. You know, it's now they did already sometimes, but now it's legal for them. So it's not a big change. But most people over here are wearing a mask, and I don't, because I had an explosion in my lungs last year. So if I wear a mask, I immediately feel that it's stopping my immune system, my energy system. So if it's possible not to wear it, I will not. But you see that
can you go in with an exemption then, because we can do exemption here.
Yeah, but the doctors don't give it, and they say they're not allowed, and that they're your own doctor, and the law says something that you have to show proof. So it's a bit of a gray area. So you have to be a rebel, but I like to be a rebel, so there's no problem.
You're a rebel, aren't you?
Yeah. So, but the fear of the masses, of the how do you say it, the groups, is getting bigger and stronger, and even doing shoppings, it's like more bizarre than ever.
I feel that, yeah.
Yeah. So if you ask how are you feeling, I'm feeling fine. But if I'm going outside, I have to be aware that it's okay. That's their belief system. It's okay. But if somebody not attacks me, but verbally attacks me, that I'm not doing exactly what they are doing, then I have to be on guard that I'm not stepping into a discussion, but just say, okay, did I do something wrong for you? I will adjust it, and I just move my own way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important, isn't it? Really, is that you know, personally, I'm in balance in this now moment. Last week, I was all over the place, but you know, I've sort of settled and I've shifted, and I think that's the key thing that I think that people should be sort of hearing in this broadcast is that no matter how up and down you are in this now moment, there is always a pivotal point where you shift out of it, and there will always, this like energy always changes and moves. So the more that we can allow ourselves to do our inner work and allow ourselves to connect to our emotions, connect to that energy and let it flow through you, the better. But, you know, if we're looking at it sort of like from a balanced point of view, and you're going out into the streets and you're seeing more and more people tapping into that fear element that's being shifted and stirred up with all these energetic influences from all the planets and, you know, astrology and everything else that's sort of bombarding us at the moment to shake us to wake up, is absolutely what you said, is to have compassion about other people and their belief systems, because, you know, if they're in fear, they're in fear. There is nothing that you're going to change about their perspective of how they see that their reality is, because they've created their own reality. So whatever is their truth in that now moment is their truth. Just like we're feeling balanced here, if they're feeling in full blown fear because they think they're going to die from this COVID, what you call it, then, you know, that's what their truth is. So we've got to honor that as well, haven't we?
Yeah, and I still I'm not sure if it's a course of you, but or it was something in the mentorship. But you told me at a certain point that whenever something comes into you from the outside, it's like an emotion or an energy. It's not the person who's bringing it, it's just the energy. And if you don't get stuck in that and just let it go into the earth, then it will go away quite quickly.
Yeah.
So, and that's something I practice a lot when something gets near to me.
It is about them. It is absolutely. So we can actually, so for definite sensitive empaths, this is an important part of our conversation, is that absolutely if you're in balance and you go out and then you actually sense everybody else's fear, you're picking up on the collective fear of others. If it's their energy, it's their energy. So you allow yourself to say, okay, I recognize that, thank you for showing me. If it mirrors something within inside of yourself, you can use it as a tool to release what's inside of yourself. Or if it doesn't and it reflects back at them, then you can give that energy back and say, thank you for showing me. It no longer resonates. It doesn't mirror anything within me. And I'm looking at it from an observational point of view rather than from a point of judgment.
Yeah.
So if you're judging somebody else that's got fear, then it's something you need to clear. That rhymes. That's good, isn't it? Yeah. Amazing. So yeah, if you see the fear, there's something you need to clear.
Make a slogan of that.
Yeah. If you see the fear, then you need to clear. So yeah, so if you got that, but if you see the fear but it doesn't affect you and you're like, okay, cool, they'll just see that they're in fear, they're wearing a mask, okay, then you know that you've worked through that process. You've worked through that's not affecting you anymore. So what you do is you literally just see it and you go like, okay, cool. That's your perspective, and that's where we need to honor, have compassion that person's feeling that way. And there's a big shift in that, isn't there?
It is, but I still see a lot of people who are empaths or light warriors, or how do you can call it, that they are still try to help bring the light in the world, help to awaken people, and then they got stuck in that collective energy, and that takes them down. And I don't know if you have. I helped not a lot. I helped some people already who has happened to that happened to them.
Yeah,
it's quite easy with light language, I think, to adjust that, because in my belief, it's like in their field there are some parts of programs which are like sticky parts, so that collective negative energy can stick really easily on that. And when there's too much, they fall down and they disagree.
Absolutely, sort of like weights you down, because it's in your because if it's an outward source of energy that's someone else's density, if your energy connects with their energy, then it weights you down a bit. So then you're tapping into a lower state of consciousness. So then you can dip down. So that's interesting. Yeah.
And mostly then they don't realize that, because it goes really gradually and slowly. And it's like little stickies going together, and at a certain moment it's going down, and then they're stuck in it, and then they don't see a way out, because they're feeling as an empath, and they feel that they have to bring light, but they don't bring that much light anymore, and they forget most often to ask for help. And because most of our empaths are not used to ask for help, we work together with others, and that's something I think that's pitiful, because if you reach out, pitiful.
No, again, it's so from my perspective, and I honour your perspective on that, but from and I'm putting a but in there, what we need to look at is that actually is an experience of that individual soul, of that. So if you're being weighed down with that outward source of density, then your soul's journey is to experience that.
Okay, yeah.
So what you'll do, what we need to observe is that somebody's in that stickiness, and they will work through that process, and when they work through that process, that is their experience. So we all have to go through the A, B, C, D, E, F to get to G, but we can observe others. So if we're at G and we see somebody at D, we have to just observe that behavior, because we had to go through that ourselves to actually see it from that higher perspective. It's not saying it's any better perspective, but it's saying that I've worked through the D to get to the G, but I've actually can see where that is that yes, you're being influenced by outward energy and you're being brought back in there. I see that in you, but then allow them to play in it, because they have to go work through D to get to E.
Yeah, but what I meant with pitiful was that if you sometimes when the clouds around you, you don't see the way out, which is and we know there's a way out, and sometimes they only get deeper and deeper. And pitifulness is what I meant was that they're not used to ask for a helping hand, and there is a helping hand available. And of course, you can always do your own process and do the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears. But there are new possibilities. There's more information there, and the ground is already walked on. So and together we can do it. Do the whole line of letters more quick.
What you're saying, totally get what you're saying. So, sort of when somebody actually listens to our conversation, that we're sort of, and there's many people doing live streams at the moment, which is brilliant, because then it gives different people different perspectives. But it is a case of actually, there are people that have already got to G, that if you want a quickened pace to work through all of those experiences, then somebody can show you the way. So like we offer mentorships, don't we? And that we can say, well, look, I've been there, I've done that, I've experienced it, this is the way to go. So if people want to look out for mentorships, or you go through that individual organic way of evolving, there's no right or wrong in it at all. But the more people are waking up to it, and they have that understanding of it, then they're shining that light forward for you like a lighthouse that you can then go and go like, oh, okay, this is the way, and then you then can come and look at it from that point of view, because it's something that's really very, very new to humanity. It's, you know, ascension. This is the first ascension that we're going through, that we're experiencing. So the people that I know, you know, that I can see that are footsteps ahead of me, I can look to and go, oh, okay, I can see that. It maybe is not resonating right now, but I will work towards it. Just like we're talking about emotional responses and things like that. If you've got somebody that's on the very beginning of the journey, they might not understand any of that until they actually reach that point. So whatever is in resonance, regardless of what stage that you're at, which is the evolution of your fragmented aspect of self, will be the right way of doing it.
Yeah, everything is at the right place at the right moment. So yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Probably I said something, there's something coming up again.
Oh, yeah.
Another tick on the hand.
Thank you. Kietara macchiato, crocione mi chiato, to gora banandemo cora basciana mi chiato, da badio no gokora duro cora masha. E da bascione mi chiato da bascione griata. Gore bezzani chietara bascione chietara te yana macchiato da bala cora masho, gore bettana mi chiato da baie chiato. Sione macchiato da bala chi da manigidish, chiato da baie na mai chiato da bacchiana mash. So they're giving me like a grid work patterning around the whole of the world, and what they're showing me is that there is so if you've got the whole world there, we've got light workers, if you want to label them as light workers, so awakening people that are dotted in strategic, thank you, places around the earth. So we're all placed in certain areas. So when we're called to move somewhere and we don't know why we're moving there, is because your higher self is going, it's like a little pawn on a chessboard, and go like, move there, so that we can this one there, and then they get that experience and the synchronicities come in there. So they're looking at it from a very, very, very high creative reality experience, that if you are told to move somewhere, it's because you need to move there, because that's where you need to be. You need to be there.
Yeah.
So your higher self comes going like there, and you go like, I don't know there, and then they go there, and you go like, oh, it feels right that I go there, but you go there. So what this is coming in. So you've got a grid work of light workers that are placed, interspersed around the whole of the earth. We're starting to connect to the souls that we need to connect with. So there's a connection from Tunbridge in England to Amsterdam. Okay, so we have an energetic connection across the globe that I know of you, and then there is that interconnection. So my soul fragment and your soul fragment interlinks across the oceans, across the world, in that, and it's a straight line apparently. Yeah, it's in straight, not in spirals. It's straight. So with that connection, and with another connection with somewhere else, and another connection to somewhere else here, even if it's just a name on Facebook, if there is a connection, there is a connection. Okay, so it is a connection of all of those soul fragments from oneness.
Yeah.
If there is a soul that is of a lower frequency, it is being held by the grid work of higher resonance. For those of us that are more tapped into the 5D reality of consciousness, we're holding up the grid work for the souls that are on a lower frequency. This is interesting. Lower frequencies to rise, because the attraction will be to meet at these higher resonances.
Yeah.
So the way showers, the people that have already walked the path, are holding the frequency for others around us to actually raise up to it.
Yeah.
So what we're saying then, if we're looking at it from a human perspective about people walking around in this sort of days of fear, is that the light workers, the star seeds that are on the earth, that are activated, holding a high frequency of bandwidth, is bringing up the frequency of the people that are here. So if you're here, newly awakening, then you're going to be pulled up by us supporting energetically. So energetically, we're holding and supporting you, okay, that are on the journey, but also from a human perspective, helping the egoic mind will allow us in a mentorship or a guidance or a healing process to help support the ego, the mind, to connect with the energetic flow, to allow the consciousness level to come up and match the resonance of the mentor, the healer. So so what they're saying is far more than just doing the inner work yourself. Energetically behind the scenes, we are also holding a frequency of light wherever we go in this world, wherever we're directed to go to. Like I was went down to Glastonbury the other week. So when I went down there, there was a reason that I had to anchor some light in there. So if you're doing grid work, if you're doing anything like that, then it's to honor that and to really connect as a higher level of consciousness being, that to anchor it in and know that you are supporting everybody around you, regardless if they're actually signing up to a mentorship or a guidance. Exactly. If they're being brought forward and they're being guided synchronistically by their higher self, go see Nicola. There is a reason behind that, because they're beholding a code, a key, just like you when you came to me. You gave me a code, I gave you a key, and then I activated something that came in for you. So this is when we all interconnect, is that where there is like almost like a sparking system to enable us to connect at deeper level of understanding with each other. So when we first met, we didn't know each other, but then I activated you, you activated me, then we sort of started to raise our frequencies together. And now we're sort of doing live streams together. So this is what we need to do with others, is that it is that interconnection. So if you're walking by somebody in the street, don't put your head down. Look at them in the eye, because the soul sits in the eyes. And when you look at someone's face, and this is why they want to put this across here, is so that people feel that they can't look at each other, but say hello, push your light out, allow them to feel your energy. So if we see somebody that's in fear, then you own your energy, you push it out, you bring your heart space in, you anchor your light, because that at a subconscious level is doing far more work than we could ever do consciously.
Exactly, yeah.
Sorry, that went on a little bit, but
no, you were right.
So the whole, sorry, Robert, taking over, but the whole thing that they want us to understand is that just by being here is far more than anybody could do with offering mentorships, healing, purpose work, any purpose work. That's just nice sort of like stuff that you experience as a human when you're going through it. But subconsciously, your physical body is anchoring in at certain places around the world to enable you to connect with each other, to hold the high frequency of light, regardless if you know it or not.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, how interesting was that? Hi, Skinny Robert. We've got Marcus in the house as well. Love Skinny Robert's name. Wonder if he's skinny. Are you skinny, Robert? Okay, we've got some comments on here. Sorry, Robert.
No, that's okay. Do it.
Okay, so
when you're looking at the comments, I will give you some comments.
Yes.
No, you can't look at it. You can't do it two things at a time. But some by times,
Da, da Dagarabrishano, Dagarabrishano, Gorati Shana Gitarasha, Gitara Makioto, the Boko, but Shana Gitarasha. That was information for the people that were watching, actually. That was for others. So please watch that back on replay for Robert, that one, because there was information for souls out there with that information that I gave, and there was a downloaded information input there. So yeah, the codes on that one, Robert. So it's to accompany the information that I came through with about the grid work standing in your physical body, being the light anchoring in. It is also about the subconscious soul level understanding that dialect just came through there. It is to be held at a subconscious level understanding.
That's beautiful, because that's adding to what you were telling.
Yes. Ah, Marcus loves our work. I'm going to put that up, Marcus. Look what he just said. Love your work, by the way. Thanks, Marcus. Is that you or Robert or both? Ha! That's ego. That was ego.
It was a dark part deep inside.
Thank you, Marcus. What very sweet of you. that was held in there. Crikey, where did that come from? So let's have a look. Oh, Inga. My little star sisters. Definitely feels a resonance field of expanding heart consciousness. Yeah, we need to get you connected with Robert. I spoke about with you, Robert, to Inga the other day.
Yeah, that's her. Okay, hi.
Yeah.
Hi,
hi, Jade. Morning. Yes, big shifts at the moment, massive shifts. So yeah, Jade's another lady that I've been working with. She's beautiful soul. Carol, hello. I can take all of this and I feel collective low energy empath here, but I try to transmute it. Yeah, it is a difficult thing to do in some ways, but it's about actually looking at, Carol, the expansion of your energy and knowing the amount of work that you're doing, which we've just been speaking about. I hope you're still watching. Is that it is a case of that we're doing a lot more than what we could ever imagine that we're doing by just being here, walking on the planet.
For Carol, for me as well. So I hope she's listening.
Oh, let's know if we got that from Robert. But yeah, it is about the greater understanding at a soul level. That was for her at soul level, and understanding to make sure that you, Carol, are grounding your energy and that you're actually grounding it to enable you to anchor that light even further. So that is something else that they want to say for others as well, is to make sure that as we walk, that we anchor. Because when we anchor in deeper into the crystalline grid, it enables us to connect at a deeper level to hold a higher resonance. So the more that we're clearing, the more light we can hold, the more we can bring the light in onto that grid. So that's important as well, is our grounding techniques. So hi, Diane. Yeah, oh, right. Oh, that was really nice of Diane. She said, I didn't go on. I wasn't going on. She said it was nice that I was allowing us to feel free to express ourselves. So thank you. That's sweet. Yeah, because see, my ego does come in as well. I just, I do. I go, oh, I'm going on. But yeah, no, you're right. Thank you for that. So Carol's actually, she might have, yes, Carol did receive it.
Oh, beautiful.
Going off to the shops with no mask, and she puts on a smile, and then she's going to watch the replay. But she did actually receive that there.
Okay, cool.
That was nice. I'm glad that, Carol. Okay. So, is there anything else we need to be talking about now? Is there anything else that you want to add to this conversation, which has been a bit mixed? It's been a bit mixed, but very, it's like this, isn't it?
It's like
energy, emotions, knowing your worth as light beings here on Earth. It's important that we know that we're doing so much more than we could ever imagine just by physically being here.
I think the red line is the emotions, because when we do light work and we work on our inner selves, the emotions will pop up, and they will have been hidden, and then they will pop up in a different modus. And so every time we have to work with it. I think that's one of the most important aspects we encounter in every time we do some work on ourselves. So the emotion work for me is the most important aspect of this session.
Yes, no, I agree. Yeah, the emotions, is that key thing that makes us human. But it is a case of it's not to own the emotion too deeply, where it takes and clouds our energetic flow of allowing us to ascend.
Yeah.
Which is ascension. Raising, isn't it? It's raising into higher levels of consciousness. And I know myself that since I've been doing all this inner work, which sort of comes up in layers and layers, that the more that I do, oh yes, Mark has got a question coming. This is good.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, and the more work that we can do on ourselves, the more that we can raise that vibration. And as you do, you start tapping in, and you'll be able to connect to your light language. You'll be able to connect to all of these hidden gifts that we've forgotten that we hold, to your multidimensional aspects, to your energetic flow and awareness, to the connection to others, to your emotional states. There are so many bonuses. But the journey sometimes is really hard work. It's really hard work. It's not a case of, I'll just shove that underneath the carpet and it's going to go away, which is what I used to do for years and years and years. It used to just shove it under there. But now I get the carpet, I lift it up, I go what's under there then? Let me clear it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we need to be doing. We need to be doing our inner work.
Is there a big question for Marcus, or is he referring to something we said?
Yeah, have you got the big question there, Marcus, before we sign off? Leave us in suspense. Maybe it's a really big one that I can't, maybe it's taken them a long time to write it.
That's a very long sentence.
Yeah, a long sentence. We might have nipped off to the toilet or gone make yourself a cup of tea. Marcus, are you there?
There's something more coming.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
let's have a look. I started a pretty heavy course this year, so that takes up enormous amounts of energy. Yet at the same time, I work massively on myself since years set for this year, which has been major. Okay, so the question then in itself is what?
Yeah.
So you've actually been working on yourself, but are you asking how you would actually do this inner work? Could you
get you a bit more clear? Well, maybe he's typing it now.
Yeah.
So, there it comes. And since I can't work at Atom, I can merely finance my health and spiritual stuff. A financial question.
Yes.
And advice on how to anchor more light. Any advice to anchor?
Okay. So it's not a case of that you can afford to do a mentorship with us, but this is why we're here to help you. For those that that don't that don't feel that that's the way to go. So yes, any advice on anchoring in the light and the actual process, that's what I'm actually sort of feeling really. So you work a lot anyway spiritually. So you work a lot spiritually anyway, but you're doing this course and there's a lot of commitment in that. So what is it that you can do in your own way? So there are a lot of sources that you can actually get sort of online, which these broadcastings that we're doing. So connect with us, keeping connection with us to sort of go through sort of all this information that we're coming through and all these sort of like upgrades that resonate with you. But the bottom line for me is about grounding your energy, because what I'm feeling with you, Marcus, I've got some codes coming for you. Tatsina macchiato da balagi and the mokora de shi. Kokorabana macchiato da bana macchiato do gokrata da shia chiata. It is your grounding. Macchiata to siana kita de shiana macchiata dash. Kiana macchiata da balakianama. So your high self has asked for this. I know I'm going in clearing your energy, but your high self has given permission to this occur. Just connecting you up a little bit higher into your consciousness, which will give you the ability to connect a little bit more. Just clearing the energetic field and anchoring you in just a little bit deeper into the earth grid. Got some codes going in to anchor that in for you. And just expanding your energetic field. Thank you. I think you've got some codes coming in, haven't you, Robert?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you.
Okay, I'm nearly finished. Wait,
shall I?
Yeah. Well,
okay. It's also for Marcus, I think. Where is Stein or indeed or Marine or Norin Thunder runs in the Marine and
I hope that sort of helped you, Marcus. We've got a bit of fairy dust coming in. Sprinkled him with a bit of glitter, Robert.
That's beautiful.
And I want to come in and share the love outwardly. So if you all want to connect, who is still watching, speak from the heart. Remember, they are always around you to connect with. They are like a lantern, and it is you, the moth, able to reach the light. Always look through the density to see the light. So they're just offering the light for you to see. Kurasiyamayan kayadayate hamakaye nabaye kayoma. Oh, how lovely. Thank you. Kurumo kurate shanikiata kura nakitura shukurate shanamakiata dash. It's
beautiful, beautiful.
It's for your assistance, they said. Amakiata de shunu kura tarinanasha.
That's beautiful energy. Yeah.
Lovely. Oh.
Marcus replied.
He's all blissed out. Oh gosh, that's lovely. Let me just put that on. So, feeling really blissed out. Thank you so much. Oh, for both of us, from your higher self as well. Oh, that's lovely. I hope that lasts, and also with the space fairies as well. I hope that helps us with that. So that's beautiful. And I am heart blessed. So Suzanne just said, so thank you very much for your video, both of you. Really strong energies. Yes, we do. We hold very high frequencies, which is beautiful, and I know you do too, Suzanne. So what a lovely ending.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's from Skinny Robert. As a shout out for Skinny Robert, my friend there.
He didn't reply. He didn't give an answer to your question.
Yeah, are you Skinny Robert?
This was beautiful, beautiful. Thanks for the space fairies.
I feel a bit blissed out myself now, don't you?
I could really feel it. It was not only for Marcus, it was for all of us.
It was for all of us. That's face.
Yeah, when they started already.
I've got I've got some energy coming down on the head. So if anybody feels a little bit heavy, do you feel a bit heavy on your head, Robert?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sort of going to be giving us some so big hugs from Marcus. Thank you. It's my pleasure. There's from Robert's pleasure is too. So yeah, so just allow that integration of that energy that's coming in from the space fairies. If you feel a little bit heavy on the head, they're just saying that this is absolutely fine. This also actually is working in a time pocket, they're saying. So if anybody's actually looking at replay, they will come through and work with you because they're in that now moment. Yeah, So time pockets are really important to know that, that actually everything is in the now, but they're coming in the now. So if you're watching it in a year's time, they're still going to come in because it's on that now moment. Cool. I think we're done, don't you?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, so stay online, Robert, and we'll have a little chat after. Thank you so much for everybody joining us today. Yes. We're going to be trying to make this into sort of like a time. Come on, a regular, that's the word, regular occurrence. And also, we're actually looking at doing some group healings, aren't we? Yeah. So we'll put some dates out for that.
Yes.
So that'll be sort of, that'll be coming up in the near future for some group light language healing, which we're really excited about because we work so well together. We can sort of join forces and precisely not blast you. into releasing your density. So I'm just going to leave you with that. So cool. Anything else that you want to say?
No, just thank you for everybody who's listening and in the future and now, and for the questions for Marcus, and because he stepped out in the open, and that's there's some courage needed for that, and what he was rewarded for it. So beautiful.
Yeah. And thanks to Carol as well. That was amazing. Thanks, Robert, for all of that you've done as well. And Skinny Roberts just said thank you. Very helpful.
Beautiful.
Okay, take care, everyone. And we'll put it up when we're on next. So we're going to go away and discuss that when we can get together again. So hopefully it'll be quite soon for you. So if you do have any questions, or if there's anything that you want, just like happened there for Marcus and Carol, if you want any downloads that will come in to help you in your process, then just let us know during these live streams. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.